Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell in the upper right-hand corner. Follow me on all forms of social media. Check me out at thatdrummerguy.com and enjoy the following presentation.
Hello there.
Hi, how's it going?
Very good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
No problem, man.
Oh, awesome. Well, of course, we're here to talk about the brand new album from Sabaton, The Great War, which is coming out the 19th of July through Nuclear Blast. I've gotten the chance to be able to check out this album over the past week, and I just love where you guys are right now in 2019. I mean, the songs are just fantastic on this album. I love the overall theme of what's going on with this, and, you know, it keeps what I love so much about Sabaton, but you're able to add so much to the diversity and the sound of the band, and it's so great to hear that.
Oh, thank you. Wow. Yeah, we just sorry. No, we just want to do our best, and it's getting harder and harder actually, because every time you go into the songwriting process, it's you have a big ghost behind you, because it's even when you're writing a song or an album, you're comparing it to not only one other album or one other song, but rather a best of what, consisting of everything else you've done in your career. So a bit of hell, actually, when you're writing songs. But on the other hand, it can trigger you to force yourself out of your comfort zone in a way. So I guess there's a bit more surprises on this Sabaton album than the last two, I would say.
So with that in mind, I mean, with you mentioning it's a bit of a hell to be able to come up with a new album every time, because you want it to be the best that you can, and you do have to compare it with the rest of the albums. I mean, what's it like to finally have this album coming out in a few weeks? I mean, is it a relief to finally have this thing coming out?
Yeah, dude, if you ask me, I wanted to release it in mid-February. We were done mixing it. I don't like this waiting period. It's. I mean, I understand it. I don't. I'm totally on board with it. That doesn't mean I have to like it. I think in these days, for fuck's sake, the music industry have to get with the fucking program. Technically, we could release an album 48 fucking hours after we're ready with it. No, maybe not 48, but 1 week. At least whatever time. Spotify and Apple Music or whatever has to upload it, and it's a bit weird. Yeah. So it's I want it out there already. I mean, it's the same thing. I understand. I mean, I'm really conscious about security. I don't let anyone else have the album. I don't give it out to friends even. But hell, I let anyone listen. I've let fans listen to it. They run into me. Oh, I'm looking forward to the album. Okay, cool. You want to hear it? What? Yeah, sure. Pick a number between 1 and 10, and I'll play you that song. Stuff like that. It's fun to see the reactions.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it, too, and I'm glad to see that you have that in mind as well, too. It's just like, I absolutely agree with you. I mean, as soon as the album is ready to be able to go out there and do it, I mean, why not be able to have it, so fresh in your mind and being that excited about the album finally being mixed and mastered? You have the artwork, you have the liner notes, you got everything ready for the album outside of recording the album. Why not just get the thing out there?
Yeah. I mean, it's. I totally understand. There is PR to be done, vinyls to be pressed, masterings, artwork to be done, yada yada yada. Absolutely, I get it, but it's still an annoying wait. We've done something that we're really happy about and excited about, and we want it out there. And here we are going, playing the waiting game. So by the time that this reaches, well, our fans, it's old news to us, so we can really share the joy.
Yeah, and it's just, again, it's great to see how passionate you are about getting the music out there and wanting everybody to hear it, rather than feeling like it's just going to be another album and just another excuse to go out there and tour. I mean, it's just like when you are that excited about the music that you're creating, you want everybody to hear what it sounds like. You want to get that live reaction of what's going on with it. I mean, it's great to see how excited you are about the music.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we are about. We're a band. We're musicians. We play music.
Yeah, and it's just because not all bands are like that, and it's very disappointing to see that. And it's great to see when a band actually does release a great album that they are actually excited about it. And it's great to talk about that with The Great War. I mean, even though I've just been sitting down with it the past week, I really enjoy what is going on with the album. And it's great to see the inspiration and creativity that's been going on after all this time is still just as strong as ever.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, we gave fucking everything we had and a little bit more. To be fair, as we always do. Sometimes we do it well, sometimes not so well. But for us, at least, I can live with having. I couldn't live with a shitty album. I couldn't do that. But I could live with a less good album as long as I know that everyone who was involved with the writing, with the recording, with the mixing, as long as everybody fucking did their best and we tried our fucking hardest. Yeah, sure, we're human. Maybe not every album we do is gonna be the best in everyone else's ears because people like different things. But at least we gotta do it as fucking good as we can. And we owe that to ourselves and our fans, because I couldn't live with myself half-assing an album, because that shit is gonna be out there forever.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And, you do make a great point about, it's just like the latest album, the previous album, the first album, the last album is not always going to be the best album to someone's ears because everyone's ears are different. But at least to me, what is so important is that it's the best representation of the band at that time. And it feels like The Great War is that musically with what's going on there. I mean, whether it's the faster songs, whether it's the slower songs, whether it's the overall theme of the album, I mean, it feels like it's the appropriate album for Sabaton in 2019.
Yeah, and I mean, we started the recording on the 11th of November 2018, so 100 years after World War I ended. We put there in, sometimes you're lucky with timing, and we thought, yeah, we got to start the recordings then if we have the chance, So, well, I guess it's pretty representative of where we are right now, and it's because, yeah, that's where we are right now, and who we are as people, where we are as songwriters, and as long as I don't mind bands taking risks myself either. Sometimes it turns out good, sometimes for the worse. We usually have like one or two songs on every album that are, well, what do you call them, experiments in a way, unusual for Sabaton. And it's usually one of them becomes really popular and one of them becomes really unpopular. Problem is, if it becomes, something different, if it's something different and it's not popular, people are hating that you're experimenting. On the other hand, if something was really popular, oh man, that song was amazing. As soon as you even go close to doing something in that vein, and it doesn't even have to be a copy or even similar, but even if you get close to that territory, people are going to complain because you're making a copy of what you've done before. So it's a bit of a lose-lose situation for a composer there.
And again, to me, that's all the more reason to make sure that you're writing the music that you want to write, because if the fan base is there and they do enjoy what you do, I think they can at least appreciate the fact that you don't want to just feel like that you're stuck writing one style. I mean, if you are able to experiment even just a little bit on each album while maintaining that core sound, I think that's just so important.
Oh yeah, I agree with you, but here's the thing, that core sound is very different for everybody, because some people discovered us with Primo Victoria, some people Carolus Rex or Art of War, some people Heroes or Last Stand. So everybody has a different opinion on what's the Sabaton core sound. And everybody likes the album or that era where they discovered the band in general. It doesn't matter, it's not for Sabaton. I mean, if you liked Kill 'Em All or Ride the Lightning by Metallica, you're not going to like Load and Reload.
Oh, that can be a very fair point. I mean, it depends on how eclectic the person is with their music listening, but yeah, that absolutely makes sense. So with that in mind, I mean, obviously with it now being over 100 years now since the start of the Great War, I mean, was that your intention to write a full concept on the Great War with this album?
No, we had that idea already. 2008 was the first time we talked about it, I think, when we were doing research for Art of War, when we were, trying to find things corresponding in modern warfare corresponding with Sun Tzu's writings. But yeah, I think the timing it was right now. It didn't feel right before. I mean, we are we're shitty actors, so we got to do with what feels right to us at that moment. And 5 years ago it didn't feel right to do World War One. Now it did, so we did it.
Yeah, and it's great to see that too, and it's just it's great to see like the timing of it, especially with it being over 100 years now. But yeah, again, just like I've mentioned before, it's just like it's so important to be doing what you feel is right at the time. And again, I think once people actually get to sit down with this album, I think they're really going to hear that. And it's just that's what I appreciate so much about the album. It's just, it captures so much of what I love about the Sabaton sound, and you're able to have this full concept, and it feels so perfect for what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, timing was right. It felt right, and it's an interesting period. I mean, only when you start to write songs having that era or that conflict in mind, it's almost inevitable that the music will turn a bit darker and more atmospheric than compared to, let's say, Heroes or The Last Stand, because they are, I mean, in a way, hero. I mean, we're singing about death and destruction, yes, but there is something cheerful or something we're celebrating in there, worth celebrating in that, that heroic moment or that heroic decisions to make a last stand. Here, darkness is way, way more present, and yeah, I guess it's affected the music as well.
Oh yeah, I absolutely hear that in songs like the Attack of the Dead Men or A Ghost in the Trenches. It's just like I hear that overall darker tone that's going on with it too. But it also just feels so appropriate for the theme that's going on there. I mean, whether that was intentional or not for the music, I mean, it really does work out for the best, and it's great to see that great representation throughout the entire album of World War One.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm happy you like it, man. It's we didn't think of it being appropriate for us at this moment. We just thought it felt right, and we did it. Sorry, I don't have a cool answer for you on that.
Oh, no. It's just, I think that's what it's about, too. I mean, whether this would have been a full album about World War One, whether it would have been, picking different time periods for an album, whatever the case is, I love that authenticity of what's going on with Sabaton, and, it's great to hear that again with the Great War, and, it's just, that's what I love about the live experience with Sabaton as well. I mean, as many times as I've seen you guys up here in Minnesota, I mean, it's always an amazing show, and it always feels like such a great, authentic show that's going on as well. I mean, every time I go there, the fans love it, whether they've heard you since Primo Victoria or they're checking you out for the very first time. I mean, it's just, the authenticity is there, and it's great to see that on a new record.
No, thank you. Yeah, well, I mean, with Minnesota, it's, probably your Scandinavian blood.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. So, again, with all of this in mind and, having to wait for the album to come out for various reasons and stuff like that, I mean, how hard was it to decide, like, what singles were going to be released for the album?
Oh, well, that's always hit and miss. Of course, we want something that represents the album very well, or Sabaton very well, because it's going to get a lot of media attention. At the same time, we don't want to show something that is maybe the most stereotypical Sabaton thing, because then our fans might think, okay, they're doing Sabaton Formula 101. So we tried and keep it a good mix, I guess. Yeah,
and, again, that's so important too, and I love the visual aspects of what's going on there, and I love the singles that have been released so far. I mean, whether it is a lyric video or you guys are actually getting up on the ship and you're able to do that full-on concept, which I love the fact that you guys were able to do that. And yeah, for this album, I mean, I always love the videos that you guys do, and it's great to see that at least twice now with this album.
Yeah, I mean, lucky sometimes, It's always a guessing game when you get into stuff like that. I mean, we want to do, well, both pleasing ourselves and pleasing as many fans as possible at the same time, and also messing with fans sometimes, because it's fun. I mean, the Red Baron is a bit of a surprise as a single, I guess, and that's not a typical Sabaton thing, I guess, but it's fun to do that sometimes. We gotta mix it up. Of course, we don't want to change our identity as a band or, make anyone sad or, upset. On the other hand, it's fun to mix it up, and, trying to evolve and get some jokes in between while not losing your core identity, which is a fine balance to go, by the way.
Oh, very much so. And, again, the more that I see the video for Red Baron, I really do appreciate that it was a single, because it has such a great story behind it, and it's great to see that visual representation of it.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. And, yeah.
It's not really, an advanced video there. It's more of a lyric video, but we thought, hell, we already blew the budget on Bismarck and feel so we're done.
Yeah, and again, it's just it's so great to see that as well too. I mean, even if it is a lyric video, I mean, there's so much that you can do creatively and using your imagination to really make the song stand out. And with Red Baron, it's just there's so many great representations of what you could do with it, and I really love the way that it turned out for that reason.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So, again, with all this in mind, and, just in a few weeks now with The Great War finally coming out through Nuclear Blast, that means that there's going to be a great representation of touring that's going to be coming up as well. I mean, how does it feel to finally start adding more of these new songs into the set?
Always feels good. I mean, we don't know which ones to add yet. Of course, we're going to start with the singles and then do our best guessing game. But after that, I mean, we usually tour with about half the new album on the set list. However, for the rest of the songs, it evolves during the tour. We want to see the reactions of the fans and want to play the songs that they like to hear, basically. So we'll start out touring, see how they work live. If they don't, of course, we're checking online, seeing what people think, and if there's any song that we might have underestimated ourselves, and we'll put that on the set list instead, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. And, the great thing about this album, even with In Flanders Field, I feel like that would be a great song to be able to hear live with, as a great segue. But the entire album feels like there's so many great songs that can be performed live. And that's what I love about each Sabaton album, is because it feels like every song could be represented live.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I mean, we could do anyone live, of course, except for In Flanders Fields, right, because that song doesn't feature anyone in Sabaton at all. Yeah. So that one would be pre-recorded, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I would love to, if this becomes popular and appreciated by the fans, I'd happily add, a couple of extra shows of, around the world where we play the whole album, before we close up the touring cycle.
Oh, I would love to see that happen too. I mean, especially with the theme that's going on there, I can already imagine the imagery of what could happen with that, and I think that would be such a cool idea if that comes to fruition.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'd love to make it happen. I mean, if this album goes well and our fans want it, trust me, no one will be happier than me, because I love to do shows like that.
Oh, that is just so great to hear that too. And again, I love the fact that you do appreciate the albums that much. I mean, rather than feeling like it is just another album, just another excuse to tour. I mean, you want to be able to invest your time, your efforts into each album, and represent them in the live setting as well too. Because I feel like every album should be important to a band, and it's great to see that again with The Great War.
Yeah, well, I've always been really much into music myself, and it's like I would rather quit when I lost the will to go on than actually going on just because of it, So for me, it becomes natural. I wouldn't do it if I got tired of it, and I don't write that much, music. It's still one of my favorite things to do, to compose.
Yeah, and as long as you got that inspiration, as long as you got that creativity going, and as long as you're enjoying the live shows and everything, keep that momentum going. And again, the more that I listen to The Great War, I mean, that creativity, that inspiration is still going strong, and I can't wait to be able to hear these songs live, because I'm already picturing how heavy, how fast, how everything that's going to be going on with these songs live are going to sound, and I can't wait to hear that.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to hear that, man.
Oh, absolutely. So, again, with all that in mind, I mean, obviously, the touring cycle is going to be going on with that. I mean, how does it feel to be getting back on the road to be able to represent this album?
Oh, I'm just looking forward to it. I mean, the first, we're doing festival summer now. After that, we're doing USA and Canada, and it'll be so good to get back in a tour bus, pack my stuff in, and think, yes, this is my home now. I'm staying in this bus. Wherever this takes me, there's where we play. And it's been over a year since we did something like that. So I'm itching to get back out on the road, actually.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you get to be in a spot like you are now, and you're able to travel and hit so many different territories of the world, I mean, that's going to be a great feeling to be able to explore all these different parts of the world that you might not be able to explore otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in a way, being on tour, I love it, and it's a lot of fun. However, it's not what people think at all. I mean, I'll do an example. I was in London over 10 times before I saw Big Ben. So, you know, meeting people, absolutely, especially, but they're metalheads. Metalheads are nice people wherever you go, almost. So it's... I just love the touring experience, but the touring experience that we really experience is not what people think we experience. Let me just say that.
Oh, yeah, and I can absolutely imagine that, too. I mean, when you're on the bus, when there are the tour schedules that are going on, you know, like making sure everything is good to go for every show every night. But yeah, I mean, like getting to hit these territories where people might not have ever been able to think that they would be able to see Sabaton, and then they finally get to see you guys for the first time, and just seeing their appreciations before and after the show. I mean, that right there has got to be such a great feeling.
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, being on stage on a good night is about the best thing I think you can do on this planet. I mean, I usually compare touring with being on a roller coaster. You know, it's ups and downs, and when you're on the up, when it's fun, it's probably the most fun you can have on this planet. However, when it's shit and it's really bad, it's really bad. Trust me, being on stage with really hospital level fever and salmonella, wondering if you're gonna shit yourself while on stage, or having food poisoning, that's not a nice experience.
Oh, I sadly know that experience as well firsthand, playing shows like that, and yeah, it can absolutely take the life out of you. But yeah, just like you said, you know, it's just like when you do have those highs, like being on the top of the roller coaster, I mean, you know, it's just like, you can't match those highs when you want to be a musician and you're out there playing for so many people who enjoy your music, singing along to every word, knowing what you do. Yeah, I can only imagine that's got to be one of the greatest feelings in the world.
Absolutely.
Well, awesome. Well, I think that's a great note to end on. And, you know, thank you very much for taking this time to be able to talk to me about everything that's going on in the world of Sabaton right now. And, of course, the brand new album, The Great War, coming out in just a few weeks now through Nuclear Blast. Again, I love this album. I love the theme of World War I. That's always been one of my favorite concepts to read about and know about when it comes into war. And it's great to see a full-on album about that, especially with the timing of when it came out. And it's just great to hear everything that's going on in your world right now, everything that you expect coming up in 2019, and I'm sure 2020 as well. And I really appreciate you taking the time to be able to talk to me.
Thank you very much, my friend. Lots of fun.
Oh, awesome. Before we wrap things up, is there anything else you'd like to mention that I hadn't brought up yet?
No, I think you covered it all.